Hey there, this is Malorian, and this will be a series of War Machine battle reports for the Steamroller called Grotscon that was held in Red Deer, Alberta. Now, this one here, it's going to be 2 lists at 50 points, and it's going to be divide and conquer 1. So it's 6 games, and over that, you have to use at least one of the lists once through that whole thing. There's 54 people, so how it's going to work is the first day, there's just 4 games, and then the top 4 players get to play the second day. The rest will be doing Who's the Boss. So really, for the most part, unless you really thought you were in those upper echelons, you probably could just use the same list the whole time, and it's not going to bite you in the ass. But if you do think you're going to make it there, you might want to use one at least once during the first day, so you're not locked in when it really matters the second day. For my part, if you guys have been watching my battle reports, I've been really pushing hard on E-Kane for a long time. I pretty much feel that he is my best Signar caster, got really comfortable with him, and then after that was trying to find a second caster and really settled on E-Striker. So E-Striker, I got all the guys. You're going to be seeing the list coming up hereafter, but it's really just a dude swarm where I push for attrition and for scenario, and I'm always risking that assassination. And with E-Kane, it's really just attritioning out at range and then be able to go for the shooting attrition or shooting assassination. So really going into this tournament here, I'm really just hoping to go even. In other tournaments, say in fantasy, I always go in there expecting to win more than I lose. But in this one here, it is going to be really tough competition. This is the Grotz homeland I'm at. And so I'm just hoping for going even. In fact, in Alberta, you have the 2 big cities. You have Edmonton, you have Calgary. And in the middle, you got Little Red Deer. But this is where the Grotz are from. The Grotz are known, in the States from all the big tournaments there. One of the guy who was running the tournament, Cam, he's been on different podcasts down there. Actually, Trevor from Chain Attack was looking at coming here, just didn't get his passport in time. So really growing big, and I'm really happy to see this. But at the same time, I was really hoping to face some Grotz as well, just to try and test myself again, right? To see, am I anywhere close to that level right now where I might even can beat one of them? I've beaten a Grot before in the past, but I think I got lucky. So we'll have to see if I can do it again. But I have to get it past a few rounds first. So here comes the battle reports, and I hope you like them. Alright, so to start, here's just a quick little picture of my 2 casters. Just to kind of explain, my 2 go-to caster will be E-Kane, but if I really feel that the shooting game won't work or something like that, my backfall is going to be E-Striker. Alright, so in the first game here, I'm going to be going with my E-Kane list. And that's because, well, for the most part, 2 reasons. One, I saw that I was up against Menoth and I was up against Adjudicator. But, the Adjudicator can go light on my guys and fire. Now, behind there is going to be Sevi. Now, Sevi is renowned as having really low stats, and this is like the thing that I designed my list to beat. I can shoot the Adjudicator, and I can magic bullet the guy hiding behind, or I even have Terran as well, and Terran will just shoot the Adjudicator, and then E-Kane will just shoot right through and take the guy down. So really liking this matchup. Plus, I learned that this is the guy's first tournament, so we're going to be looking good. The scenario here is the one where we have the flag, an objective on either side, big zone in the center. It's kill box, which will help me even more, forcing Sevi to get to me. And then it's first to 5. You get 1 for controlling the zone, 2 for dominating, and you also get 1 for destroying the enemy objective. Now, when we're looking here at the matchup and what I'm up against, he's going to have his errants there on the right. He has some zealots there. He has some racks going across. He has the book. He has a vassal. He has the Menothy things. But really looking at this, what I'm planning to do is move up with the long gunners, and they'll be able to start putting some big pressure because they can put the 2 POW 20s into his jacks if I need it. They can do their shots into the book and destroy the book. And meanwhile, the Rangers, I'm really hoping to pull the Knights Errant into kind of like a little side battle on the right, because I do not want them gumming things up in the middle. I want the middle nice and open so I can be jumping up with Ekane, shooting and jumping back. And otherwise, terrain-wise, I really am happy with the side I got, because I got that nice little trench in the middle in there that I can deal with. And I also have like a little side trench here. I just really like my side of terrain. And I also even had first turn as well, so this was pretty damn nice. Really, everything just kind of ran up there. I could have just hid behind the forest, but I actually want my Rangers in the forest because I'm tempting him just to walk up and shoot at me. With concealment and camouflage, he's really not going to be able to do anything, but just trying to slow him down so he shoots rather than runs. Talking about with that, I mean, I put up blur on myself to keep myself more safe. I have Arcane Shield up onto the Storm Wall, but normally my play is also to gate crash further up. And the reason for that is that then I can threaten a lot more of the board when my opponent goes. But with this here, we have the Judicator and all these scattering AoEs and lighting you on fire. I just did not want to take any chances, and I stayed further back. So on his first turn, he is running up here. Like I said, with the Zealots, it actually worked. Sorry, not with the Zealots, with the Errants, and they go up and they decide to shoot instead. So that's really nice. He misses all those shots, and they're more out of the battle where they could be right in my grill already. He does a few AoEs. He's able to kill one of my long gunners with a scatter. The Zealots are up front. He has Eye of Menoth. He now have the Zealots that are all basically immune to everything. And this isn't too bad. I mean, already I'm looking at this and like, well, you know what? I'm going to start moving up, and I'm going to start doing some magic bullets into his caster. So I go to do this, and it doesn't totally work out right. I go up, I go with the long gunners, and they do a little bit of shooting. On the right side, I go up with the Rangers. They go up and they do some shooting, kill some of the Errants. Gun mages go up. They kill a couple more of the Errants. And now it's like, okay, now I reload, give myself an extra bullet, and it's time to do some magic bullets into Sevi. And I go up and I measure range to the Judicator, and I'm just out. Like, if I would have been up like another half a centimeter, not even, I would be in, and I'd be able to hit him with a couple of the magic bullets, which can really hurt Severius. And hell, you know, if things go well for the dice, I could instead of gate crashing back, I can just do it a third time. But nope, did not work out. So I spend my shots trying to shoot down whatever errants I can, and then gate crash kind of back. I have the Storm Wall that's up there and threatening. He puts out some cover fire to keep the Zealots back. Shoots out a pod just to kind of keep the Judicator busy. And kind of a disappointing turn. So on his side, again, his Errants are busy shooting at my Rangers, just kind of moving on over. So glad that that's slowing down. He comes over with the Zealots, does his best to shoot at me. Doesn't really get too much done here. Yeah, for the most part, for his turn, did not get much done. So really happy with what happened. But really, the really nice thing I'm looking at this too is that it's assassination time, because I set up my Terran so I could basically just, if he goes in the zone with the Judicator, I can just walk up and I can just shoot him, and then I can see through. So the Judicator stepped into the zone, so I know I can just walk up and shoot him, and then Kane just needs to move up and kill him. And this is made even easier because of how, because of Killbox, he did not have room to go behind the Judicator, so he had to be more on the right. And that's why he has that little grouping of 4 models, just to try and get in the way. But you know what? That's just not enough to keep him safe. So really, I'm just looking at this and saying, well, it's a assassination time. But it doesn't work. Okay, first part of it, the reason why it didn't work is really just because I'm an idiot. I go up with Terran, and first of all, this is where I realize that even though I love the look of these trenches, they're very inconvenient to put models on the stand, so Terran's kind of weird there. But I go up and I go to shoot the Judicator, and that's when I realized or remembered that she has a 10-inch gun rather than a 12-inch gun. So I fall short. You know, it would have been so easy for her to be another 2 inches up. I specifically set her up in that location so I could go up and shoot the Judicator if it went in the zone, and I just screwed up. So whether it's just I'm just a plain old dumbass, or whether it's because I was mainly practicing my E-Striker list lately rather than E-Cane, that flopped. But you know what? That's not so bad, because all I need to do with E-Cane now, I mean, I have to go a little bit more to the right rather than going straight up. But all I need to do is move a little bit more to the right, shoot the one model that's in the way, and then the rest go on Sevi, and he's going to die. So this is fantastic. I go up with E-Cane, and I go and I measure, and again, I am just out of range. I can't believe it. Happens again. And I realized, okay, well, let's just go for attrition. We'll just do attrition this turn. We're just going to be shooting things up. And so really I spend the whole time just going and killing all the zealots and the errants that I can, and the long gunners, because the Judicator, that badass, will just run up and one round my storm wall if I let it get to me. So I actually do a run with the long gunners just to get bodies in the way to make it harder for them. So game could easily be over, but unfortunately the double derp does me in. So on his turn, he's mainly clearing things out. His errands start getting up there and doing a lot more work for him, killing off a lot more guys. Between his sprays and all the shots, the long gunners are just decimated. Everything is killed. And so right now it's in a spot where things are really bad because he obviously really focused on Terran. So Terran is off the table, so I can't see through the Judicator anymore. And now I'm at a point where I have to worry. I can't just play around anymore. His Judicator is staring down my Judicator, and yeah, if I don't dedicate, I'm going to lose it, and bad things are going to happen. So after looking at this turn, I really had to kind of make a choice. I had to kind of decide whether I was going to go for the Stormwall going in or going for the Magic Bullet Assassination, which would probably take 2 turns. I probably couldn't do it this time completely because he was camping a bit, being a little bit more careful. So, you know, I'd have to go through him destroying my Stormwall. Maybe when he came up, he could do sprays and boost and get Striker. So I really thought I just had to go in and deal with that Judicator. So I make this my feet turn so that E-Cane can go up there and shoot and take the guy down, right? Really do some damage to the Judicator first. Had 3 focus onto the Stormwall. This is the last time I could use my Squire. And when I start doing my feet rolls, it is no damage, no damage, no damage, no damage. It is ridiculous. I'm getting my first 2 shots. I'm getting Reinhold. I'm getting the Squire, and then I'm getting 3 more focus that I didn't put onto the Stormwall. So I'm getting 7 shots, with it getting stronger every time. And when I'm done all those shots, I do like 3 damage. It was ridiculous. But that was all made up because when the Stormwall charges in, he rolls fire. You know, like his charge attack is something crazy like 655. And I think he just really messes up that Judicator and is able to kill him too. Electro Leap's doing some work as well. And I'm feeling good at this point, really good. And it's at this point I really stop and I look around, and my opponent's like, what's the big deal? Like, aren't you pretty much good to go? And I say, no. Pretty much whenever I get myself in this situation, that's when I screw up. When it looks like I got the game in the bag, that's when I screw up and I lose. So all the rest of my activations are based on making it harder for him to get to my caster. I have, you know, the Black 13th and the Gun Mages and the Squire basically running to get into annoying positions to get in his way. And at this point here, I'm feeling pretty good. Now, this was really annoying. When I had to put Cane where this little slidey trench was, I was not careful with my facing because I'm just like sliding down this thing. So I'm basically just placing him wherever he'd balance. and in doing so, put this errant in my back arc. Now, he still needs like an 8 to hit me or whatever it is, but he hits me, he does 6 damage, and I'm like, man, well, and that's just carelessness on my part. Like, I can blame the terrain a little bit for being inconvenient, but still, I should really be more careful with this. Then what he does is he's able to kill enough over here to run Reinhold through, and then Sevi comes over, does ashes to ashes. He gets it, so it's going to be hitting 6 people, so it gets to Ekane, and bam, he boosts the damage and is able to kill me. Now, if I hadn't taken the damage from the Aaron shot, I wouldn't have died, but man, was this deflating. It was a game that I felt that I was in complete control of. That going into it, I thought I'd have the win, but it's just, I have one turn where the magic bullet is out of range, one turn where I'm just barely out for the shooting assassination, and it's like, oh, I should have had this, but again, it also comes down to just me making stupid mistakes, not looking at Terran's card and realizing that's 10-inch rather than 12-inch. If I would have had her 2 inches forward, that assassination would have been just fine. Or here, if I just would have been a little bit more careful with the way I placed down Kane, I would have been fine and I would have survived. So very, very demoralizing. And especially because of the way Steamrollers works, it's like, well, now I know I'm not going to make it to the final 2 games and I'll be at the bottom table. So kicking myself for this one. And if you're my opponent, Brian there, I'm sorry if I was kind of like, a poor loser at the end there. I was being more quiet than, moany and bitchy like I am now. But, really hurts. All right, so getting to the second game, this is going to be kind of an interesting one. It's going to be another kill box, first to 5. You get 1 for dominating the close flag, 1 for controlling the far flag, and 2 for dominating the far flag. Now, it's going to be interesting because this is actually one of my viewers. He's a local guy, Mike, and I don't think I've ever beaten him. Actually, just really recently, we played a game where it was my Ekane versus his Butcher 3, and he kicked my butt there. And then recently as well, so he knew that he knows that my E-Striker is my answer to Butcher 3. And so he's not taking Butcher 3, he's taking Sorsha, which is also neat because as a practice game just recently, I also did E-Striker versus Sorsha. So this is going to be a neat kind of redo here. But looking at his list, he has the Widowmakers and the Marksman and Kale Baylock up front there, along with P-Iris. Back in the back zone there, he is going to be having his own Nis Hunters. He's going to be having Ayanna and Holt. He's going to be having Silas. She's running a Behemoth. There's the Great Bears. There's a lot of danger here. I already know, looking at this, that Sorsha versus my Dude Swarm is kind of a real issue because he just comes in, freezes everything, and then I just can't really do anything. I just have to give it up. It's not like Krios where I can just forfeit my movement or action. My guys are just stuck. And I also know that he has P-Iris in there because once I'm stuck and I fall down or I'm all frozen, then you shoot me with P-Iris because it's easy to shoot me. You take off all my focus. I have no focus next turn too. And not only does it give you the opportunity to try and assassinate me then, I'm also going to have no focus next turn in order to try to shake the stationary. So I basically lose my whole next turn with my caster. Something else I learned from last game too is that whereas I normally have the Sword Knights in front of the Precursor Knights, I know what Sorsha can do is just stationary the Sword Knights with a spell rather than the feet, and the Precursor Knights are kind of stuck behind. So this is why I'm going a side-by-side this turn. But really my plan here is just to kind of get up there, eat what I have to eat, and then kind of answer back and go for the assassination. So he gets first turn, and he is taking up whatever parts of the field he can. On my turn, I know that he is going to be freezing me, and I just want to get into his grill. So I have Heroic Call go up on the Sword Knights. I put Arcane Shield on them, and everything is just running up. Now, 2 things are kind of unfortunate here. I took the Archduke Runewood because he gives reform to the Sword Knights. And I thought I could run up my 12 inches and then also reform another 3. So it really makes him super, super jammy. My opponent reminded me that that's not how it works because once you run, your activation ends. So there is no reform. So that kind of makes me feel kind of bad about taking Runewood. He's not really seeming his 3 points at right now. But otherwise, something I really like on the left side is that those Rangers, because they get to advance deploy and run, they're 14 inches, because their movement's 7. I am jamming the hell out of them. So I have all of his stuff there tied up. His Nis Hunters are stuck in the back, and that's really going to bog him down, which is going to allow me to really focus on the right side. Now, he also had Epic Alexia, which I really want to get off the table. He also has Gorman, which I had to be very careful about. But looking at it, I thought I could run up with my Stormblades and then feed up and be able to hit her with 2 of my guys. And if I could take off Epic Alexia early in the game, that would really help. Unfortunately, after I pop my feet and all these guys kind of move up, it doesn't work, and I'm just out. It seems like this tournament is all about me being, a slight couple of millimeters out. So that's really unfortunate. So otherwise, I'm just kind of getting up there and getting guys in the way. Trying to deal with the models on the hill was a little bit silly, but really what I was trying to do is set up 2 lines of defense in front of E-Striker. E-Striker is also on the hill. Looking at now, I probably should have just stayed behind the hill, but there you go, and we'll see what he does to me now. So on his turn, this is just over here showing a picture of like, wow, it'd been so nice to kill her, but because, I mean, an army like mine is what she loves, right? She's going to get souls for days and then just make Banes, or Thralls, sorry. So on his turn here, he comes over, he's going to go and kill some guys with his Great Bears, he's going to shoot down what he needs, he's going to get a line to E-Striker here, and then he's going to freeze me, and then he's going to come over here with P-Iris after he freed her up, and shoots me. So he is getting the dream. I am going to be getting kind of stuck there. So that's kind of unfortunate, but what could you really do? So really all I need to do now is to try to survive for a turn. And luckily, because of the way that she was when she was doing her stationary here, there's a lot of my guys that aren't stationary. I mean, it really is tough for her where she needs line of sight. So really, I just need to jam with what I have that's not frozen and just survive a turn. So otherwise, what he does on his turn here is he's trying to clear me away on the left, but Rangers of Defense 14 are pretty damn nice. He gets some shots on my Nis, some combined shots, kills some there. Yeah, he makes 3 of his Thralls with Alexia on the right, kills more of my Stormblade, so that's really unfortunate for me. But the biggest thing here is whereas normally I'd look at this situation and it's like, okay, all I gotta do is jam again, try and survive, and go for the assassination or the attrition after. Look at that death clock. This turn took forever. He did get lots of work done, but like I said, when you have to take all that time to measure who do you have line of sight to freeze, when you're trying to deal with all the activations there on the left, trying to do attacking the Rangers and missing and trying to do all this stuff, it took him a very long time. And I mean, now after his second turn, he's already down to 12 minutes. So whereas normally I'd be looking to survive and then trying to assassinate him, I'm also saying now I'm just going to death clock him. So my turn, it's actually pretty simple. I'm able to come over. I put Heroic Call now onto the Precursor Knights. I move over Arcane Shield to Striker. Something I actually got kind of lucky with is that since I was far enough up, I was not kill-boxing myself. If I would have kill-boxed myself, that could have been even worse. But the way it wasn't too bad. I'm able to survive. I don't need to worry about a scenario thing. And really, for the most part, the Nis that were allowed to run are just ditching over here to the right side, really just getting models in the way, going after Epic Alexia, getting kind of lucky on some hits, doing some pretty good damage to her, not quite killing her, but hey, I need to roll like 8s to hit her anyway. Killing, I think, Yeah, no, I'm not really killing much else. I don't think I kill much of anything, but I'm just jamming up even more on this turn, right? Even the Archduke, all he does is runs up to engage Sorsha and P. Iris and saying, hey, now you got to deal with me again. And on his turn, he goes through, he does his best, trying to kill everything he can, and, he just does not have enough time. He tries taking another shot at E Striker. He misses, which is really huge because this means that next turn I'm actually going to have a chance to go after him. So that's why Sorsha is just zipping over to the left side. But, after he tries doing some shots and he did a little bit of damage to E Striker so far, he is just really, really low on time. Like, he has killed a lot of my guys, but his time is gone. So on my turn, I'm able to basically just kind of reform. I'm now trying to get back over there to the left, jamming a little bit more with my remaining Nis, trying to kill off now the Great Bears and stuff with my Precursor Knights. Was not able to kill off Alexia. I really tried, but again, I think I left her with like 2 boxes or something. But now I'm actually getting to fight back. And then on his turn, he tries again to shoot to take off my, to take away my focus and stuff with Iris and try and do everything there. But he misses again, and really on this turn, this is where he's going to death clock himself. He just did not have enough time, and that was it. So with the game, obviously this one was starting to go a little bit south there. He was killing tons of my guys, and honestly, if he wouldn't have death clocked himself, I probably would have actually lost in the long run. Once he came in here and started killing the rest of these Precursor Knights, I mean, it would have been kind of hard to start fighting back. I could have gone and killed Behemoth, but, I can't really throw too much of my focus away or overpower too much, overcharge or whatever, because then Sorsha can always try and kill me. But, yeah, there you go. I got a win by the death clock, and that's really something you can do with this list. When you have this many guys, it really takes your opponent a lot of time to try and figure out, like, man, what should I go after first for all the sea of dudes, and it can take him a lot of time. In my opponent's defense, he was feeling sick, so I'm sure that had a part in it as well. But, hey, I'll take the win. So, going into the second game now, we're going to be up against a guy over from Winnipeg. So, from those who don't know Canadian geography, he is 2 provinces over. So, that's quite a far ways. If I was holding a tournament in Germany, that's like people from Spain coming. So, it's a long way to go. So, really awesome to see guys like this. And this was a really fun guy. His name was Kevin, and he's running with his pigs. Now, looking at this point here, I know normally I go with Ekane, but his other list was Carver. And with Carver, you have all the brigands. They just kind of go and dig in, and then you're not really getting much work done. And meanwhile, they have a pretty good POW on the pigs, and they can really hurt the Stormwall. So I'm going here with my E Striker list. Plus, hey, I know I'm like in the mid to bottom tables anyway. Let's have some more fun. On his side, he is going to be running Midas. I don't believe I've ever fought Midas before, but I've seen a fair number of battle reports. He is running, this is a tier list. I think it's the tier 4. He has the Roadhog. He has 2 of the Gun Boars. He has the Bone Swarm. 2 units of the Slaughterhousers. He has the Brigands in the front, the Bone Grinders there in the back. And because of the tier, he also has one of the Warhogs as well. Now, I know, so first of all, let's cover the mission. The mission, I believe, was not kill box. You first 1 to 5, you get 1 for dominating your own zone, 1 for controlling the far zone, 2 for dominating it, and 1 for destroying the enemy objective. And again, look how lucky I got with having a trench on my side. When I saw this, I decided to go, I won the roll, I wanted to pick sides, and I went right over here because that's going to be a beautiful spot to get in there and dominate that zone and be perfectly safe with E Striker. So he gets first turn, and he's really running up. I forgot to mention he also has a few Razor Boars thrown in there as well. And, yeah, he's kind of moving up, throwing a few AoEs at me. But that's pretty much it. So on my turn, I am just rushing up the board. I don't need to rush crazy far, but it's the same usual thing. I have the Arcane Shield up on the Sword Knights. I have Heroic Call on them, so they have tough as well. Going up with some shooting, I'm able to shoot down one of the razor boars. One of the storm blades goes and takes the trench. Another one's ready to countercharge. If he goes up too far, I have the one jack there to deal with him, and the Nists are just holding back and getting ready to do some shots. I think I do a little bit of damage to the one gun bore, but nothing really serious. Alright, so on his turn, he is getting into my grill now. The Slaughterhousers coming at me on the right side there at a couple of Rangers that they went after. He failed the frenzy test on the Razor Boar, and he came up and he killed one of the Storm Blades. The Brigands do their little order, the Hog Wild, or whatever it's called, where they shoot and then they get to charge as well. So they do an okay number to the Storm Blades there. Sword Knights, rather. Comes in, does some AoEs. But I mean, the biggest thing for his shooting is that because I had deflection up, my Sword Knights, when they're touching in base to base with Arcane Shield, are armor 21. So his AoEs really didn't do much of anything to me. Otherwise, he's holding a little bit back there on the left side, wanting me to... basically, what he wants me to do is to go after his gun bore, and then he's going to counter with his Slaughterhousers. But looking at this, the big thing I noticed is that he does not have much in the other zone. So whereas I could be looking at this where I could really hit the Brigands in the middle and going for the counter charge and stuff like this, I'm going to push for scenario. I mean, especially if I can kill that gun bore on the left and that one Brigand. Well, I can't dominate my safe one anyway, but I can go over and get to the right side and dominate that, get 2 points, and be looking pretty good. So that's really what I do. I do a big combined shot or a couple of smaller combined shots into the gun bore, doing some pretty good damage. Charge over with the Precursor Knights. They're not able to finish off the gun bore, but with the feet and everything else, my Sword Knights and the Storm Blades are able to do a lot to the Brigands. The Brigands are almost completely wiped out. The gun bore on the right has some good damage on it. All the Slaughterhousers on the right were killed except for one. The Razor Boar was actually killed by E-Striker. He's over there dominating, getting me 2 points. And one of the things I also did is I really don't want his heavy to go over to the right zone, because against Midas, you just don't want to kill their beasts. If you kill their beasts, he's going to feed them back, and that's when he gets the free one. So what I actually did is moved up my Jack so that's threatening enough that his Roadhog should probably be coming after me and killing him. And so instead of being in the right zone where he probably wants to be, he'll be more dedicated to the middle. So on his turn, that's what he does. He has a kind of like the counter charge with the Slaughterhouses on the left. With their, +2 to hit on the charge, they actually do pretty good hitting Nists and all that fun stuff. He has a Razor Boar that comes after me on the right. The Slaughterhouser basically trying to do his thing. Like I had hoped, the Roadhog goes after my Jack and does some pretty good damage to it, messes him up pretty good. And then seeing that scenario is kind of an issue, he goes and he brings over the Bone Swarm to the right. So I am going to have to try and kill that Bone Swarm in order to actually go and try and dominate again. But with the Storm Blades I have around here, that shouldn't be a big issue. Unfortunately for me, the dice don't really go my way. I'm able to kill the gun bore. Okay, first of all, I was also trying to get the left side, but those Slaughterhousers were just making tough for days. So could not finish off the Slaughterhousers on the left. Was able to kill the gun bore. Did a little bit of damage to the Roadhog, but again, I don't want to kill it. I want him to stay here so that he doesn't want to feat. Otherwise, I'm able to kill the little Razor Boar that was in my way, and then that allows the Storm Blades to go up and charge, do a little bit more damage to the remaining gun bore, and then I got 4 charging Storm Blades onto the Bone Swarm. Was not able to destroy it. I had a whole bunch of misses in there, and yeah, so still 2-0. So on his turn there, he realizes that the right zone is the real issue, but he just can't really shift over. Just doesn't really have a lot there. So what he does is just destroys my Jack, moves over some of his Bone Grinders to try and contest the zone there on the left, and then otherwise killing off my Storm Blades on the right. So on my turn then, it's pretty easy. All I need to do is overcharge, get really strong, go over, destroy the objective, Then just going velocity over, kill the bone swarm, boom, that's 5 points, and I get the win. So it felt really nice to be back now on the winning side again. I'm now 2-1, and it really was a really fun game. Kevin from Winnipeg was a really fun opponent. After he even has a little rule that whenever you play against him and his pigs, you have to get bacon. So he had this beef jerky with him. So really nice guy, really fun game. And hoping to get somewhere now around, like now I'm at the shot where I can be going for 3-1. So really looking forward to the next game. So I get to the next game, and I start off getting pissed off right away. I really hope I didn't show it. My opponent here, Brett, is a Legion player, and I know Legion well. I played them for a long time before I did Signar. Well, a long time being about a year or something. But look at this situation here. So what the game is the first 1 to 5, and the way it works is that you get 1 for destroying this far objective, and then once that the objective is destroyed, then you can start scoring on the zone. You get 1 for controlling and 2 for dominating. But here's the thing. We're up against Legion. He has Callus, he has a Naga, an Angelius, 2 Ravagors, a Shepherd, a Forsaken, the Black Frost Shard, the pot there. He has the Legionnaires with UA, and really, here's the thing. Even, let's say there was no scenario. What Legion can do here is go up, go behind the forest, and with Isle of Sight, they can shoot you, and you can't shoot them back. Then, when it comes to the time, they can charge through with Pathfinder, and you can't really charge them, because first of all, you probably can't see them, and then if you don't have Pathfinder, you're really slow. So playing against Legion with a forest right in the middle of the board is bad, and having it so that the scenario is controlling the middle of the board, this is absolutely the nightmare situation. So really, really kind of upset that I got dealt with this, but at least for my part, I can say, hey, you know what? This is a faction I know well, and maybe I can pull it apart. I took E. Kane because he's normally the one I take against Legion. I can use him to shoot down their beasts, and then all of a sudden they're kind of in a really bad spot. So this is why I start off with E. Kane more on the left side. My plan is to try and get around the side and shoot down his beasts, and then once his beasts are done, or at least a couple of them, then my Stormwall should be able just to run into the middle of that forest to try and deal with whatever else is there. So I get first turn. That's basically what I do. I get the true sight on myself, or true shot, so that if he does make it into the forest, I can not have to worry about his bonuses. Arcane Shield is up onto the Stormwall. He's gunning up, and the Rangers, I just want to get them on the other side of that zone to, again, just kind of like against when I did it against the Knights Errant, I want him to be there taking shots at me rather than just running into the zone. So they're just trying to be there saying, hey, kill me, and hopefully buying me some time. Otherwise, on his turn then, he is moving up with his Legionnaires. Unfortunately for him, he had his Forsaken too close to his Shepherd, and his Shepherd actually fails a command test, so that was nice. His Black Frost Shard go up, and they go stealthy, and that's a unit I need to deal with too. The Naga can make him so he ignores my Arcane Shield, and then on the left of the leftmost unit, or model of the Black Frost Shard, he basically has harm. So between all those things, and like just imagine that with the armor pierce attack from the Angelius, he can really hurt my Stormwall. So I really need to take these pieces down. With his shooting, he is able to kill Watts from the Black 13th. He's able to kill a couple of my Rangers, but otherwise, this is exactly the way I wanted it to be. He stayed back and did his shooting, and now I can go up and try and do some more damage. So what I do is I, again, just go up with the Stormwall. I put up whatever cover fire I can actually see. the long gunners could have started shooting the legionnaires, but they really didn't want to because I don't want to give them vengeance. I don't want to get them into my face. So they actually just move up even more so that next turn I can double tap the objective if I want to. Meanwhile, on the left side, Kane pops feet, goes up. I'm able to destroy the Ingelius. Actually, first I go up with the Rangers. They do some damage. That was pretty nice. But again, it seems that whenever I go for this double, where I shoot the Ingelius first and then start going with the Ravagore, I just can't get it. Had a little bit of low dice here, nothing too extreme, but of course it's a thing where normally what I could do is actually be fine there, right? I could have spent the rest of my stack and shoot him down, and I'd be okay, but this is Legion. He has a Ravagore, he could just shoot me and do tons of damage, and I just couldn't have that. Plus with the pot, he could have made a Harrier, he could go for True Strike, and smash me, so I had to gate crash away and leave that Ravagore alive. But I'm feeling pretty good. I was able to kill off the member of the Black Frost Shard that gives them stealth, so that'll make them easier to take out in the future, and overall, I like my position. So on his turn, he comes back with his shots. He's able to kill Terran. He's able to kill a couple of my gun mages. He tries to kill Lynch, but fails, so that was pretty nice. Otherwise, yeah, that was pretty much it. His Legionnaires, he kind of messed up with. They moved up, but he forgot to move the rest of his models. So they went for Iron Zeal this turn. So they're going to be really strong. But really, he should just ran right into my face. Instead, he kind of went to charge with 3 models and then forgot to move the others. So a little bit of mistake there, and then a little bit of bad luck too, because his Shepherd refused to rally. So he's still standing there being a jerk. And then otherwise, yeah, I'm now looking at this saying, hey, if I want to, I can do some more shooting at the left Ravagore. I can trample over. I can kill the left Ravagore. And if I do that, I'll be engaging the other one. I'll be engaging Callus. And I can start looking at assassination and scenario. Because really, if I take down that beast, he will not be able to kill the Stormwall. And I will have him just where I want him. Now, here's a really unfortunate part. This goddamn forest. So I move over with the Rangers. They do their thing first. And then Kane takes a bullet. I go to look at how far I could go to the left. And you know what? I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Between that forest and the objective there, I just can't get far enough over to see the Ravagore. So that was just... what can you do, right? It's just the way that this board was, but you know, it should be okay. I do some shooting with the other guys. I finish off all the rest of the Black Frost Shard. That was pretty nice. They tried doing some shots into the Ravagore. Don't really do much. So I trample over at the Stormwall. I have 2 attacks to make, and unfortunately I miss one, connect with the other, and leave the Ravagore alive. So, whereas if I killed him, I was sure I was going to live. Now, it's going to be up in the air. I do double tap and destroy his objective, so I am up 1-0, but that's it. He actually had 3 Legionnaires there that if I could have found some way to kill, I could have tried dominating as well, but there's just no way that I could get the shots on them all. I did, as you see there, put the pod over there, so I was hitting them all, but like I said, they had Iron Zeal, and I just could not get them all. So then on his turn... you can see what happens. He, between the Wraithbane and Ignite and flip-flopping those to the 2 of them, he's able to destroy my Stormwall. And that is a huge deal. Yeah, because now all of a sudden, I am left with him having 2 beasts, and I have no Stormwall to hide behind. So, really bad news for me. This is his feat turn. He's running up with his Legionnaires. Luckily, most of the Legionnaires are outside of the feat range, but still, I'm in a very bad spot right now. So on my turn, I just have to keep on doing the attritioning. I shoot down a lot of the Legionnaires, really trying to focus on the ones that aren't in the feat. I do have to kill a few that are, so I just have to shoot down the whatever little extra model you get as well, the Incubi, and then I am able to kill the 1 Ravagore. So that is really good news. He's down to just the Ravagore and the Naga for beasts, and now I'm actually feeling a little bit better. You know, with the attritioning going like it is, you know, maybe I can actually pull this off. On his turn, he does his best to go after me, but still I'm left alive with a lot of my pieces that I need. He does not do a lot of damage. He isn't going for scenario yet, and I believe he shoots at Kane with his Ravagore, and he misses, so that was really nice. And for the most part, yeah, I'm just looking at this and saying if I can keep up this attritioning, especially if I can find some way to start picking apart that Ravagore, I can pull this off. So that's what I do. His Legionnaires are pretty much all almost wiped out. He just has the one that's now in my grill, and then two that are lost in the forest. I'm able to kill his Naga. I'm able to kill his Harrier that he'd made, kill almost all the guys from the pot, and feeling pretty good. I did a little bit of damage to the Ravagore. I have nothing contesting, which is an issue, but yeah, it's okay. But then it's not okay because he comes over, destroys the objective, dominates, gets the 3. So now it's 3-1. And now I realize I'm in a really bad spot. I kind of lucked out that he made a Harrier, went after Ryan, and then decided to boost rather than just buy a true shot or whatever his thing is. So a little bit of a mistake there. But either way, I'm in a very bad spot because I need to either flood the zone to make sure he doesn't dominate, but I have to also kill this Ravagore, which is going to be very difficult at his current defense 14 and 18 armor and tons of boxes. If my long gunners were already free, they could start doing some bigger double taps, but otherwise I need to really go for the caster kill. So first what I do is I move over some long gunners and they do some shots. I also went with the gun mages. They kind of walked into the zone and did a little thunder push thing on the Ravagore, hoping to push him out and knock him down, but did not happen. So I'm contesting, which is nice. And this is where I decide, like, you know what, I really have to go for the assassination. And this is where I kind of derp. First thing I do is I cast the true shot or whatever, true sight, so that I can see get rid of the conceal, but it's not really going to do anything. That was a really dumb thing because I still can't see him. So what I'm going to have to do is gate crash to him. The other derp I made is that I killed a Harrier, which gave him 2 more transfers. And between those 2 derps and some bad dice, that was it. I'm not able to pull off the assassination, and I'm in a really bad spot now. So really on his turn, his Ravagore actually frenzies because he was actually now hot and charges the Reinhold, misses, and then otherwise he goes over then with Callus and he's able just to kill all the gun mages and dominate again for the win. So really, I can't feel bad for this loss because this honestly is a very, very bad situation. At the same time, I made my mistakes, right? Definitely made it my derps. Maybe Kane should have been even more based to the left so that the forest would be less of an issue. Hiding more back centrally really limited my options, so made some mistakes there. Of course, at the end, going for the assassination, I had some mistakes there too. But finally, the biggest thing I was thinking of is that, you know what? Why in the world did I use E-Kane anyway? When I'm in a spot where shooting was going to be difficult, why didn't I drop my E-Striker list? I could have gone up, I could have really just jammed him up and kept him out of the zone, and then meanwhile, I have a lot of Pathfinder in that list. I have the NIST that have it normally, I have the Piper, I have Runewood, so I have a whole bunch of Pathfinder, so the trees in the middle wouldn't have mattered, and then I could have just gone for a scenario, and you know, if his beasts get too close, I just kill them with my caster. So I really think this was also a mistake on my part for taking the wrong list, and what can you do? There's another loss. So at the end of the day, I finished the tournament being 2-2, which is okay, right? This is really what I came in to really go after, and I was trying to get 2-2. But even with that, I didn't really feel that good with my performance at Grotscon, the Steamroller there. Really, of course, I had my loss in the first game where I lost it because I made mistakes. I didn't play to my regular style. And it's just losses like that kind of hurt. And then in the last game, of course, I was a little bit salty because of the mission and the terrain, but also because, again, I made a mistake there too with the way I handled the last turn, and then even with my character selection. Looking at it too, one of the things talking about my two lists is that, like I said in the very beginning, I took my E Kane, that's going to be my strong list. The E Striker, that's my backup list. The way it actually worked out is that E Kane went 0-2 and E Striker went 2-0. So all of a sudden I got to kind of look back and say, you know what? I don't think that E Kane is my best caster anymore. Definitely between the two lists, I mean, the E Kane one was the right one to drop in that first game. But now I'm starting to think ahead to, later on that maybe I should be focusing on something else instead of E Kane. Maybe I can drop that list. That frees up the Squire. I can start looking at E Haley or P Haley or something else. So I'm going to start playing with other things. But one of the things that I turned out is I was actually the top Signar player there. So that feels pretty nice. I wouldn't really see myself as a top Signar player. There's other people that are normally Signar that were playing other factions and stuff like that. So I really, when I look at myself and I look at all these mistakes I'm still making, this is the reason why I don't release tactical advice on my channel on War Machine, because I'm just not at that level yet. I like to think that I'm kind of still middle of the pack. I'm not the newbie anymore. I kind of know my stuff. I'm a little bit, I'm starting to get a lot of the tricks in. Maybe like I'm at like the 60th percentile. That's where I like to see myself. So I still have a lot of work to do. I can't be making these simple mistakes, but at the same time, it still was a blast. It still was a really fun tournament, really well run. It is tough, right? I know as I'm a tournament organizer myself, and I'm usually running for tournaments for about 24 people, that 54, there is a lot of terrain you have to deal with all the mats and all the objectives and all these things. So it's a lot of work, and it was really well done. So had a lot of fun, and really looking forward to go back later. So there you have it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on other mistakes and things I could have done better in any of my games, changes you would make to the list, or even just the idea of how E Striker did so much better than E Kane. And maybe I should start making myself more of an E Striker type of guy. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.